Hi everyone, it's Ashley with the Posh Crochet Patterns. Today's tutorial, you will be learning how to make my new lime meringue pie washcloth. I like this pattern a whole lot. I used my new stitch that I made. It's a cluster stitch. I think you all will like a whole lot. It has a really lovely flower-like pattern to it, like a fluffy, light flower pattern. And this is the lime slice that I made. I think it's a really nice pattern. With this washcloth here, made with the yarn that I made it with, it is a little over 7 inches tall and right at 7 inches wide. And depending on the yarn that you use and the size hook that you use for your yarn, then that will determine the size of your washcloth. If you wanted to, you could make two and sew it together to make the perfect pot holder or oven mitt. I would prefer you to make two before you grab something hot with that, just because it does have some gapping in it and it's not real thick. So you definitely want to double up before you do anything in the kitchen with anything hot. But if you want to use it as a washcloth, just one would be fine. And this actually looks really beautiful hanging up. When I hang it in my kitchen, it definitely stands out. Company spots it like right on, and they absolutely love it. So I think your company will love this too. It's really easy. So we'll start off with my cluster pattern, and we'll just repeat and repeat all the way up until we get the length that we want. And then we will just single crochet in each row all the way down and around into each stitch, each chain across the bottom and back up. And then we'll just make a few chains, nothing hard, it's really simple. And then the lime slice, we will start off here in the center with the magic ring, and then we will work back and forth in the rows. We'll change color with the white, and then here we will just use a yarn needle just to stitch in some yarn across here for a little definition. So the yarn that I used for this washcloth, this really soft, light, fluffy white yarn, this is actually Mainstays 100% acrylic yarn. It's a much softer yarn, and this is what I have left out of the ball. Now this skein comes in close to 200 yards, and I've made a lot of things with that skein. I've made several washcloths. I made a cross washcloth, prayer cloth, and I made this washcloth and used it for a little detail and a few little things. And this is how much I have left. It's a very nice, soft cotton yarn. And for the lime and the border, I used Crafter's Secret cotton yarn that I got from Hobby Lobby. And this is a nice cotton yarn. It's pretty soft too. But for today's tutorial, for the excuse me, I have allergies. But for the actual washcloth, I will be using this is Peaches and Cream 100% cotton yarn in white. So I will be using that for today's tutorial with the lime Crafter's Secret yarn. And for this tutorial and also for this washcloth, I used a size 4mm hook, a yarn needle for the lime, just for the little details right here, and scissors. So we have our hook and we have our yarn. And before we get started, I wanted to say congratulations, Creative Grandma, on your new digital book. I know it'll be great and successful. So to get back to our pattern here, our multiple is going to be 5 plus 2. And when we make our foundation chain, we're going to want to make it just a little loose. We don't want it tight because we're going to be working into the back bump of our chain. So we will be chaining 32. Now we are going to turn our chains to the back here. And if you look closely, we have these back bumps on each chain, and that is what we're going to be inserting our hook into. So in the second chain from our hook right here, we're going to turn it. We're going to insert our hook in that back bump there. And we are going to make one single crochet. We will skip 2 chains, and in that third chain we will make our cluster stitch of 2 single crochets and 1 double crochet, all in the same chain. And we will continue to skip 2 chains, and in that third chain we will make our cluster stitch. So 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, and 1 double crochet. Skip 2 chains, and in that third chain make 2 single crochets and 1 double crochet, and that is our cluster stitch. And we will continue to do that all the way across. And then in our very last chain, we will make one single crochet. So we're at the end of our chain here. We have 3 chains left. So we will skip 2 chains, and in that very last chain, in that back bump, we will make one single crochet. And then this is what our cluster stitches look like. It's very nice. Turns out to be a really, really pretty pattern. So now for row 2, we will chain 1, and in the same chain here, this space right here, this chain here, we will insert our hook and we will make one single crochet. So now we will skip 2 chains, and in that third chain, that last single crochet of that cluster, we will make our 2 single crochets and our double crochet cluster in that chain. So we will skip 2 chains, and in that third chain, that last single crochet, we'll make our cluster. And we will continue this all the way across. And then in our last chain here, we will make one single crochet. So for row 3, we will chain 1 and turn. In this same chain here, we will make one single crochet. And we will repeat row 2 over and over until, let's see, row 23. So we will skip 2 chains, and in that last single crochet of that cluster, we will make our cluster stitch. Skip 2 chains, and in the next chain, we will make our cluster stitch. We'll just keep doing this all the way across. And in that last chain, the very last chain of the row, we'll make one single crochet. Look how pretty and fluffy that is. Very nice stitch. I really like this stitch a lot. So you will repeat that until row 23. And I will meet you back then, and I will show you how to crochet around the border, and we'll make our little loop here. And then last, we will make our lime applique. So pretty. Okay, guys, I'm on my last row here. I'm on row 23 at the very end. So I'm going to make my last cluster stitch here. And then my last single crochet in the last chain. So this is what our pattern looks like so far. It's a really pretty pattern, really fluffy, really pretty. I really like this pattern. So here's the base of our washcloth. So now all we need to do is make our border. Now I'm not really sure if I have enough of this green to do 2 rows of the border and the lime, but I'm going to try. If by chance this doesn't work out and later in the video you see my borders in white, you know, don't freak out. So, for row 24, we'll start with the border. We will change the color to the lime green. So, this last single crochet here, what I'm going to do is, so on that last stitch here, I'm going to go into that stitch, I'm going to grab it and pull it up, and I have those 2 loops on my hook, right? So I'm going to grab my green, and I'm just going to pinch right here. And I'm going to yarn over, and I'm just going to pull that through. And I'm going to take the white, and I'm just going to kind of pull it a little bit just to make it tighter, and that green. And what we will do is we will chain 1, and the same chain here, I'm going to go into that same exact chain, and I'm going to make a single crochet. And in each corner, we will make 2 single crochets. So I'm going to go back into this same stitch because that's my corner. I'm going to make 1 more single crochet. Just going to tighten that down a bit. Now for each row, I want to make a single crochet. And we have a total of 23 rows. So I've already single crochet for row 23. So for row 22, I'm going to go in and make a single crochet. And that is what it should look like. So there's our corner right there with our 2 single crochets. And then you just go in, make 1 single crochet for each row. And what I plan on doing is after I single crochet down, I'm going to count and make sure that I made 1 in each row correctly. Because a stitch like this, it's easy to get confused on where the row is, which is okay. So what I'm going to do is I want to go back over here. That looks like my next row where that single crochet is. And then I'm just going to crochet over my yarn ends. And then right here, that looks like a row. And then right here, that looks like a row where the single crochet is. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to hopefully find my stitches. And then once I work all the way down, I'll count them. Make sure I got it right. And if not, then I'll just take that apart and try to fix that. And maybe I might get lucky and have enough yarn to make this border and that lime applique. Let's see, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So that's 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Okay, so I'm doing it right. That's good news. So I'm going right here and make that single crochet. And then right there and make that single crochet. So far, so good. And then along the bottom here are our chains, so that'll be easier. So that's all we're doing is single crocheting, 1 single crochet in each row. And here's my corner right here. It's actually right here. And I'm going to put 2. And I just turn it so I can work along the bottom. And so we skip 2 chains here. So that means I'm just going to crochet over that yarn end. So it means I need to put 2 single crochets there. This gap right there, that's where we put our cluster. So that gets 1 single crochet. Here's that chain that skipped 2. So I'm going to put 2 single crochets there. And there's where I made that cluster. So it's just 1 single crochet. So I'm going to skip 2. And so that's all we're doing. And you'll continue to do that all the way around. In this corner here, you're going to put 2 single crochets. And then you're going to make 23 single crochets for each row. And then in this corner here, that first chain right here, you'll make 2 single crochets, and then in each chain across, one single crochet in each. And then when we get to here, to the end, we will slip stitch join in that first single crochet. So just continue around doing that, and I will meet you back at the end. So I made my way around, and if you do not want to make the next row a slip stitch row, what you could do is you could just go ahead and slip stitch join in this corner. And what you could do is you could go ahead and chain 8. And turn, skip 1 chain and the next chain, slip stitch, chain 1 and turn, and then just slip stitch into each of those 8 chains to make your handle. And you just do that all the way until you get to that last chain there, and slip stitch and cut your yarn. But if you do want to continue on, then you would slip stitch here in that first single crochet you made. And then, let's see, you would chain 1, skip that same chain here. See if I can zoom in for you. So skip that same chain, and then in the next chain, make a slip stitch. And then in each chain, just slip stitch all the way around into each chain. So I'm going to continue to slip stitch in each chain all the way around until I get back to the very top here, and I will meet you back then. I slip stitched all the way around. I have, let's see, one more slip stitch. I'll try to get into that very first slip stitch there. Sometimes those slip stitches are hard to get into. Well, oh goodness. I got stuck there. Huh. All right, let's try this again. There we go. Huh. Alrighty, so slip stitch join. We'll pull that tight. So now for our little handle here, like I was showing earlier, we are going to chain 8, slip stitch, chain 1 turn, and then slip stitch into each of those 8 chains, and then slip stitch. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then we'll turn. We'll skip one. And we'll go into the next one. Then we'll slip stitch. Oops. Pull and tighten that down. I'm going to chain one. And I want to turn it back around. So I'm looking at the front. So I have these 8 chains here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go into that next chain and slip stitch. And then go into that next chain, slip stitch. I'm going to do that all the way until the end here. And then I'm just going to go into that same chain there. That one I had trouble with earlier. And then slip stitch into that one. And then there's my little hook that I can hang it in my kitchen. Or so you can hang it in your kitchen. So now all we need to do is cut this yarn in. So the washcloth part is done. Let's see here. I'm just going to pull that. It's a slip stitch, so just tighten that down. Now all we need to do is thread our yarn needle and weave it in. Since it's green, I suppose it would be best to try to weave it in the green. So you can either use like a smaller hook or a yarn needle. Sometimes I like to just grab a smaller hook and just get in there. And weave it in and out that way. And this works well for me. That seems like that's on there pretty good. There we go. That is on there very well. Just going to clip that off. And the white yarn in, I crocheted over. So I'm just going to make sure it stays secure and through these stitches here, if I can get it going through these stitches. Okay, now we need to get ready for the lime applique. So we'll be using the same size hook. So here's our washcloth with our beautiful cluster pattern. Very beautiful. Okay, so now we just need to grab our yarn for oh, we're going to start with the white. And I'm going to use this, oh, let's see, what is it called? Mainstays Cotton yarn for the lime applique instead of the yarn I just used for the washcloth, just because it's a much softer yarn. So we'll start here in the middle. Let's see, we'll start in the middle right here with the magic ring, and then we'll work side to side and side to side, and then change color in the white and work across, then change color in the green and work across. And then this right here, these little slice marks, we're just going to use the yarn needle to insert those in there. So for the lime slice, I'm going to start with this white, and I'm just going to create a loop for a magic ring. I'm going to insert my hook, I'm going to grab the yarn and pull it through that loop, and then I'm just going to chain one. And then we are going to make 7 single crochets in this ring. So this first single crochet, I need to make sure that it's not too tight, that way I can slip stitch into it. And then continue making the other 6. It's 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to pull this loop out. We got one more single crochet. So now I'm just going to crochet just around that loop. There we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We need one more. And 7. And this just helps to get it closed very nicely. And then I just pull that yarn in, and it squeezes that closed really good. So let's see here. So we need to slip stitch closed. So I'm going to go into that first single crochet here. Wiggle that through and slip stitch. Pull that tight I'm not worried about that gap. I'll pull that tight later. So now it says we need to change the color to green and chain 1. Okay, so I'm just going to push that over to the side. I'm going to grab my green. What we can do is just go ahead and chain. So I have it pinched right there. So it says we need to chain 1 and make 2 single crochets in that same chain. So I still have it all pinched. I'm going to go back into that same chain. Wiggle that through. I'm going to make 2 single crochets. In the next 4 chains, we are going to make 2 single crochets in each chain. So, let's see here. So here's the next one. So next 4, I'm going to make 2 single crochets in each. That was 1. And that was 2. And that's 3. And then that's 4. Let's see, and then it says, then slip stitch into next chain and chain 1 and turn. Okay, so in this next chain here, we're going to make 1 slip stitch, chain 1, and turn. In the same chain plus the next chain, we will make a single crochet 2 together. So that means the same chain here and this next chain will be joining together to decrease. So that means we will go into the same chain, we're going to yarn over and pull that through. Then we're going to go right into the next chain and do the same thing, yarn over and pull that through. So we have 3 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through all 3. In the next chain, we need to make 2 single crochets. So in this very next chain, we're going to increase. We're going to make 2 single crochets. In the next chain, we will make 1 single crochet. In the next chain, we will make 2 single crochets. And this is going to give us our nice circular curve. Next chain, 1 single crochet. Next chain, 2 single crochets. see, next chain, 1 single crochet. Let's see, so we have 1, 2, next chain, 2 single crochets. And then in the next 2 chains, we will make that single crochet 2 together. So we'll go into that chain, yarn over and pull that through. And we'll go into that next chain, yarn over and pull that through. We have 3 loops on our hook, so we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3. We will chain 1 and we will turn. For row 4, we will repeat row 3 again. So the row that we just made, we will repeat. So in this same chain here, we will make a single crochet 2 together with the next chain. In the next chains, 2 single crochets. The next chain is 1 single crochet. We're just going to repeat that pattern. Next chain, 2 single crochets. Next chain, 1 single crochet. Next chain, 2 single crochets. Next chain, 1 single crochet. Next chain, 2 single crochets. Next chain, 1 single crochet. Next chain, 2 single crochets. And then in the last 2 chains, single crochet 2 together. Chain 1 and turn. For row 5, we will repeat row 3 and 4 again. So in the same chain and the next chain, it's a single crochet 2 together. Next chain, it's 2 single crochets. Next chain's 1 single crochet. Next chain's 2 single crochets. Next chain's 1 single crochet. Next chain's 2 single crochets. Next chain's 1 single crochet. Next chain's 2 single crochets. Next chain's 1 single crochet. Next chain's 2 single crochets. Next chain is 1 single crochet. Next chain is 2 single crochets. Hmm. Hmm. Next chain is 1 single crochet. Next chain is 2 single crochets. And the next 2 chains, single crochet, 2 together. We will chain 1 and turn. For row 6, change color to white. So I'm just going to pinch that green and that white right there. And I'm going to chain 1. And then this green yarn, I'm just going to pull that down. And there we go. And then pinch. Okay. Now we will make 2 single crochets in this same chain here. So the same chain, we will make 2 single crochets. In the next 2 chains, we will make 1 single crochet in each. So the next 2 chains. Let's see. In the next chain, make 2 single crochets. In the next 2 chains, make 1 single crochet in each. In the next chain, make 2 single crochets. In the next 2 chains, make 1 single crochet in each. Next chain, 2 single crochets. And if you see, we are repeating a pattern over and over. Next 2 chains, 1 single crochet in each. Next chain, 2 single crochets. The next 2 chains, 1 single crochet in each. Next chain, 2 single crochets. Next 2 chains, 1 single crochet in each. Next chain, 2 single crochets. Next 2 chains, 1 single crochet in each. In that last chain, 2 single crochets. we will change the color back to green. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and chain one with that white, and we'll turn. We'll clip our green. Remember, we're going to pinch that white and that green. And we're just going to chain like that. We're going to take that white and we're just going to pull it down to tighten it. Pinch that green and that white with your finger and pull that down. And then pinch that white and that green. So for row 7, make one single crochet in the same chain. So we'll just go into the same chain here. And make one single crochet. And we will make one single crochet in each chain all the way around. And all these yarn ends, I'll just weave in the back of my lime applique. That way it won't be shown or seen. We'll do that once we're done. And so on each chain, we're just going to go around with this green. One single crochet in each chain. I'm going to go ahead and clip my white yarn. Get that out of the way. And then finish this up. Okay. Oh. In that last chain, make one slip stitch into that last chain. So we will cut our yarn. It's going to grab that and pull that through. Bind that off. Now you just need to choose which side you want to be your front and your back. So we're going to find the strand that goes to this magic ring. Looks like this one right here. Yep, so I'm going to pull and tighten that magic ring down as tight as I can. Let's see if I can, and like I said, I like using my smaller hooks to weave in my yarn ends. Let's see. Okay, that magic ring is definitely secure. So I'm going to go ahead and clip that one down. So I got this yarn in here. Got a couple here. So let's see. This green one. I'm going to want to weave in and out of this green here. Probably just go in this way. Okay, that's good. Clip this green one. Let's see this white one. Just going to tighten it. Tightened right there. And then let's see. There we go. That's better. That's good. Ooh, so far, this side's looking great. So I'm going to clip that. And I'm just going to do the same thing to these other ones. I'm going to tighten them before I weave them. Use that smaller hook. Find a good spot. Pull it through. Turn it. Get those out of the way. Let's see. that one's good. It's this white one. So I'm almost done. And last thing to do is we will thread our yarn needle with the white and apply those sorry about that. I had to sneeze. I live out in the country and it's been raining all week. Okay, so here we go. Almost done. That. Pull that through there. That's good. And then these right here. So now we just want to get about, I don't know, 10 inches maybe of yarn here. You don't need a whole lot. And we're going to thread our yarn needle. So I just do this little trick where I take wire and I fold it in half to create a loop. And then I just pull it through. Which if you're one of my subscribers and you watch my videos a lot, then you already know this. Which, thank you, by the way, if you are one of my subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing and watching my videos. So now, we're going to go, so choose your front. So I'm going to choose this as my front. It's got the front of the single crochets right here. I think this side looks nicer. So I'm going to go in through the center here, but through the back. Oops, if I can, here, there we go. I'm going to pull that through. I'm just going to hold that yarn there. On this line here, so here I am in the middle. This one I went up at an angle. So I can either go down here, then do that. So let's see what that looks like. Let's see if I just... I'm a little curious. Let's see. What just happened? Why did it do that like that? Hold on. Huh. Okay. Go in like that. Like that. Kind of curious if this will... This will look good. And then I'm going to go in from behind about right here. So basically just go in from behind the center, take it across the part where you want. Then after you do that, go in from behind like this. Let me move that out of the way so you can see. Like that. And then we're going to go in through that middle section there. And grab it. Like that. Okay. So since I'm in the back here, I need to go up this way. And then back through that middle piece. So you choose where you want to place your slices. That looks good so far. Okay, let's go in right here. So far this one's going to have quite a bit of slices. Probably should have made my yarn strand a little bit longer. That first line, I didn't make a whole lot of slices. I only made 4 total on that other one. I'm making quite a bit more. So it looks like I'm skipping 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm skipping 3. Just gonna go back in that same hole. Yeah, might need a longer strand. But I think you all get the gist of this. All right, I'm going to pause this and I'm going to go ahead and get a longer strand and do the same technique all the way around. Okay, so this is what my lime slice looks like. I really like it. I like it a whole lot. I think it actually makes it look like more like a lime slice. So on the back here, I'm going to have these yarn ends. So I say we just tie these together and then clip it. And we can either super glue this or we can sew it onto our washcloth. And if you are going to super glue it, I definitely recommend the E6000 Plus. I just used that on the 4th of July Star Spangled Cup Cozy for Independence Day. And it dried fast. Let's see, I got it like right here. I got this from Walmart. And it's the Plus. It costs like $1 more for the Plus, but it's all weather adhesive, multi-surfaces, because I glue all kinds of stuff. I like gluing rocks and everything. And it's clear. It comes out clear. This did not take long at all. Hold on, I'm going to show you. Okay, so first I used regular Loctite super glue to super glue this ribbon, and it didn't work out too well. There's a couple parts that buckled. So what I did was I just added some of this to it and it fixed it right up. And then the other one I had, because I made 2 of them, I used this to just glue the star on. It worked great. It dried fast, which normally these E6000s don't really dry so fast, but this Plus, it did. It dried really fast. So, Yeah, so if you want, you can always just let me do that. Hold on. That way you can see this better. That way you can just super glue it if you want. So it's totally up to you if you want to sew it. Oops, there it goes. With your yarn needle or needle and thread. I went ahead and just grabbed some needle and thread. I could super glue it. It would probably still work great. It's just, I don't know how long the glue will hold up. And, you know, being washed and everything. So, I don't really know if I should put it there. The middle, I think, looked good. I think I'm sticking with the middle. Yeah, so I think I'm just gonna stick with the middle. I think I'm just gonna go straight across the bottom and then go around. And that should be great. Yeah, and this pattern, it looks really nice, doesn't it? I actually really like the lime slice having more slices. Like, so here's the original one. And the new one. I like this one better, actually. Yeah, so we just sew this on here. And then we'll be good to go, and then it'll be done. Stay tuned, and I'm going to show you what the next tutorial is going to be. I'll meet you back in just a few moments. And once you're done just sewing it or gluing it, well, I mean, after you're done sewing it, then just tie a knot and then clip it. And then that's good to go. There it is. Oh, look at that. Look how pretty those stitches are. I love it. I love it. Look at that. Here, let's get that out of the view here. So, there's the first one and the second one. And really, they're pretty much close to the same exact size, even though it's by, you know, the base of it was a different kind of yarn. But still looks great. I love it. Oh, and what I wanted to show you all was this will be the next tutorial. Right here is this diamond shaped one. It's actually looks like a really cool diamond shaped pot holder. But also, same goes for this. I would double up. I would make, like if you wanted this to be a pot holder, this cotton yarn I use is pretty thick. Just be careful. You don't want to burn yourself. So you might want to double up and take two and stitch them together. That way it's nice and thick and strong, you know, so you don't burn yourself or anything. Or unless you're just using it for decoration or just to lay there to put your pots on or to use as washcloths. if you want. But either way, it's beautiful. It's a really nice decoration. This would be great for Christmas gifts, birthday gifts, or, you know, whatever you want. So next video will be the Mossy Lemon washcloth. So this is the stitch that I created. It's the Mossy Lemon stitch. Really pretty and really different from everybody else's. And then it's got this neat little handle here that kind of stands up, or you can fold it down. Either way, you can hang it. It's the diamond shape, and then we'll be doing the whole lemon applique and this lemon slice to go with it. So yeah, so this will be the next tutorial coming up. So thank you all so much for watching, and thank you to all my subscribers, and I will see you all very, very soon. Bye-bye.